Hey everyone, it's Christine. Welcome to ParanormalTV. If you're new, welcome back if you're not. I know I've been MIA for a while and I will talk about that later. But for now, I want to just focus on this video, which is not coming out the way I planned already. I can't find my cord for my camera with the viewfinder, so I'm hoping this looks okay. I was having some trouble with this camera focusing. I think I'm focused now. Today I'm going to be making a spell book. I am going to be using some junk journal methods. I have this big book here that I'm going to be using. Alright, so future Christine here. I meant to say this at the beginning of the video and I did not. Usually this type of video would be on my second channel, Vintage and Crafty. So if you do like these types of videos, go subscribe to that channel because I don't normally post them here. It's a spell book. This is the perfect place to post this video. This is for my best friend Natasha. She asked me if I could make this. And basically, she loves the cover of this book. It's got a nice wide spine to fit lots of pages. As you can see, there are a lot of pages in here. She wants this cover. She doesn't care too much about the pages in the book, but she said if I wanted to incorporate them, I could. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to make it out of this. So she also told me that if I wanted to, I could cover this part of the book. So I already coffee dyed my pages. I'm using purely coffee dyed pages for this because it is a spell book and she's going to be writing a lot in it. I don't want to have too many decorative things going on. So that's what we're doing for this. And also, as you can see, this is starting, I don't know if you can see, I'm like assuming you can. This is starting to come out, which makes my job easier getting it out. But also it is a good cover to use. Look at this castle. This is wonderful. I think I'm going to wind up incorporating this maybe on the cover. I have an idea for the cover. So let's get into it. If you see some things to the side, it's some junk journal stuff. So we have to cut through this netting. Some of my OG subscribers are going to remember Natasha. If you're new, Natasha is my best friend. And she actually started this channel out with me. This was our channel when I first started. This book is in here quite well. I feel like we're performing surgery right now. Surgery on the book, and it's not going in my favor. This is in here so snug. Okay, we got it out. So I have to say, the spine of this book is incredibly weak. This is the weakest spine I've ever worked with, which is funny because this book was in here so snug. That kind of possibly puts a damper on what I was going to do. I went so into the spine, but it's so weak that I'm a little bit afraid. Going to save this because I'm going to use this as my workspace for a bit. Let's cut this page because I don't need this in here. This is actually a really good page that I'll probably use in a future journal. So let me go in here because there is some things that I want to grab. This is my paper drawer. So I was thinking about putting these on the inside cover. And I'm just curious, what one do I want to do? I do have 2 of these, which is wonderful because I don't think I have 2 of the leaves. I don't think I would need to, but it's always nice to have that backup. Let me see. Lazy. Come on! I have this card, which is definitely going on the front cover. And with this color scheme, it could definitely go with either one. I'm thinking about the spider web, so just because there are 2 pages, and that will help me if I mess up any. I'm sorry for any background noises. My window is open because it's really hot here in Philly, even though it's November. So I think the first thing that should be done is putting my spine back together. And I used to have a bone folder. Where that went is an absolute mystery. So we'll just do that. This is going to help me know where to cut, basically. You could measure it. I don't feel like doing that, so. Okay, let me see. That fits in there almost perfectly. It just needs to be trimmed a little bit. Off here. Because as you can see, I did not get my line perfectly here. Okay, there we go. I think that will fit perfectly. That fits wonderfully right there. We're going to use a bit of glue. You could use whatever glue you want. I'm going to use Mod Podge. And this will make the spine stronger, thankfully. I'm actually just going to spread out my finger. I think that will be easier. Okay, so now that that is in place, it's always a really good idea to just kind of bend it in because it gets very stiff. While this is drying, I'm going to actually take my signatures and separate them. So here are my signatures. I want 10 pages for each signature, which will be 3. They will be folded in half, and when they're folded in half, they equal 4 because you're counting front and back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I figured that's a good amount of pages that will be in her book. So let's go through and separate. Here are 10. So the beauty of doing purely coffee dyed, same size papers is that you don't really care what page goes where, unless maybe some of the dyeing process, you like certain pages that came out better. For me, it really doesn't matter. So you could line them up like this, or you could fold them over like this and do one by one. That would be one. And I think I'm going to do that for this particular one because I want a really nice crease. And like I said, I need a new bone folder, so I have to really crease it well with my own hands. So we'll do this method. It will be easier. Normally I don't do it this way, but just because I am having a lot of pages in here, I want to make sure they kind of get as flat as possible because they get very voluminous coffee dyed paper. Whew, that was a lot of work. Let's just see. Yes, these are going to fit perfectly in here. Let's just count these to make sure we have the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. I think I'm just going to fold the rest off camera because it's super boring. Who cares about that? And then I will meet you guys back when I'm done. You guys have no idea how much I'm struggling right now. I'm trying to decide if I like this side better or this side better, and I am kind of at a loss. I mean, I could do one and one, but I want it to match for this book. So I'm like, oh, and I could also put one of these on the spine, and whatever side I don't use, put that on the spine. So that's an idea. But you guys, I'm struggling to decide. A part of me really likes the web, and then another part of me just really likes the stars. I can't decide. I think I'm gonna go with the web. What I'm doing here is I'm just measuring. Let me just make sure I'm recording. I am. Okay. I'm just measuring up about where I am going to trim it. And I'll do a little snip. That will be my toe. Because now I'm going to take the Mod Podge and I'm going to just cover this whole thing very well. Mod Podge dies. Oh my gosh, Mod Podge dries clear so I can be a little messy and not worry about it. I like to add way more than needed because I have had times in the past where it was just hard for me to get what I wanted to stick to actually stick, and that kind of happened over here with the creases right here, and so I really had to add a lot of glue. Bone folder would be lovely right now to make sure I can smooth this down, but whatever. Okay, so there is one side. That looks pretty good. So now we're going to just do the same thing. You want to make sure this layer is very thin so it doesn't get bubbly. And you want a good layer on here. That's why I really just slather it. I'm not super precise. Just because you can go in there and you can clean up those edges later. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to clean up these edges. And also, like I said, this is going to dry clear. So it's not that big of a deal. That was my dog. Oh, that looks pretty good. I'm a fan of how that came out. It's still drying and everything, but pretty good. So my idea is I think I'm going to sew the signatures right through here. And if I do not like the look that it gives back here, I can always cover that up. So I have all my signatures here. They're all put together nicely. Now I want to work on the cover because I feel like the cover will be much easier to work with before I sew any of the signatures in. We're definitely going to put I Put a Spell on You, but I think I want to incorporate this castle in here. It's going to look best if it's torn. That's usually the rule of thumb I find. These pages also tear quite easily, like way more easy than other pages that I've torn. And then let's cut this. We want to lay everything out. Okay. You know, I'm thinking I just like it just like that. It's very simple, but I think that looks really good. I mean, I can always put this into the journal, which would be fun. If this were on the cover like this, I would like it, but there's just something about this that's not my favorite. I think it's because I want this to be very centered, and it just kind of throws it off. Unless I were to, you know, like, put that up there like that. It just doesn't look right. So I think I'm not even going to use that for the cover. I could ink up the edges. It's like my one shot with this. I have no more of these, so that's why I'm like, should I ink up the edges? Like, I'm thinking super hard about it. We're going to leave it as is. I just, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is sew in these signatures directly into the book, which is something I don't do too often. And this book, this spine was not my favorite, so I'm really hoping it works out for me. I think it will, because I got to reinforce the spine. The next thing that I want to do is I like to add bookmarks, and I want to use this black, it's called Celebrated 360 bookmark ribbon. This is perfect. This goes with the color scheme perfectly, and I'll be using twine to sew in my signatures as per usual. I mean, sometimes I don't, but I'm going to for this. I want it to be durable. I'm going to use this little tag, and I am going to hot glue them over here. So I'm gonna have to move out of the space so I can plug in my glue gun, and you guys are not gonna see that part, but that is what I'm gonna do. So this will stick out here, and then the ribbon will be in the inside. So it is the next day. I needed a break. I basically made my template. I threaded my needle. I'm using twine, and I'm ready to make my holes. I'm a bit nervous because I've only got one shot here. I'm gonna start off doing the back, and so I'm gonna align here. Actually, let's pin this down, because then that will help keep it straight, because it's kind of bulky. I didn't do the bookmark yet because I thought it would be easier actually just to wait. It might get in my way if I do it now. Lacey, why do you have to get up now? Okay, moment of truth. Let's see. I think that went well. It did. It went very well. It doesn't really matter. They're all coffee dyed paper. I'm just going to find my middle, and then I'm going to get sewing, and I'm just going to speed through this. So we're going to do a very easy pamphlet stitch. So now I can do my tie off. Let's just make sure it's nice and tight and straight in here. I think I like this better, doing it this way. I think it's easier. Takes up less supplies. Let's tie it first, and then I'll cut it. And it was pretty easy to do. do a triple knot? I think that's fine. If you want it, you can always do a little bit of a glue here, and then that will hold it a little bit more. I hope I'm in frame. So this is just fabric glue, and it will kind of like seal it. These together. To make life easier on myself.
Well, I can make it sure I've got the perfect cure. Just take my potion as you fall in love with you. One drop is all it takes, guaranteed to make her crazy in love. But ooh, careful what you use. Too much can be dangerous. I didn't care, I was ready for attraction. I knew that big and bad and a long black booty from a big black cat. Spider legs and wolf and fur. Bring it to a boil and begin to stir. Add poison ivy with a hemlock root in a pen from the color of a vampire suit. Guaranteed with your money back too, but be careful when you mess with witches brew. Hi, it's me. Can we get together?
I told you not to call me anymore.
Please, just one more time. It's important.
Alright.
I met her in the park, just a few minutes after dark. We got to talking, and that's when I made my move. I took the potion, bit her, suddenly something hit her. She turned to me, her eyes grew wide, and then she told me I looked at you before. What have I been missing? We closed our eyes and started kissing. Ooh, the next thing I did see made me want to scream. It was the witch's face looking back at me. I knew that it had bad and a long like cat, spider legs and wolf hunter. Bring it to a boil and begin to stir. Add poison ivy with a hemlock root and a thread from the color of a vampire suit. Guaranteed with your money back too, but be careful when you mess with witches. I knew that it had bad and a long black booty from a big black cat, spider legs and wolf hunter. Bring it to a boil and begin to stir. Add poison ivy with a hemlock root and a thread from the color of a vampire suit. Guaranteed with your money back too, but be careful when you mess with witches brew.
I did the finishing touches off camera. You can't even see this because my bed sheets are black. Let's put it on this book. Okay. You still can barely see it? Okay, hold on. Sorry, like everything I own is black, so it's a struggle, right? Do I have anything? Here. Let's just remove that. We'll put it on a shirt that isn't black. It's gray. You can see it now. Okay. So I just tied a bow here. I was going to do a proper closure, but then I decided not to cover it with fabric, to keep this black. I just think that's perfect for a spell book. And I also really like the writing right here, so I kept that. She said she didn't care if it was covered or not. I could cover it if I wanted to. And I was thinking about it with some lace, but I just really like that with the twine. And also this is a little bulky, so I wasn't sure how it would lay down, if it would lay down right or not. So we have our little tag here that she could write spellbook on. If we unravel this, I'll show you what I did to the cover. I did wind up distressing it a little bit. I just felt like that did look a little better. I wasn't sure if I should do that or not. I was overthinking it. Originally I was going to, and then I was like, I don't know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But then after I put it on, I was like, I think it would look so much better de-stressed, especially against the black. And then we open it up here, and I wasn't sure with the paper what I should choose, but I really like the purple. I think that she would really like that as well. And I have my pages sewn in, and then I put a bookmark in here. I didn't do any other pages except for coffee dyed pages because I figure she is going to write a lot on here. I didn't add any pockets. I was considering it, and then I just decided this should be very blank going to her. So that's why all the pages are blank here, and then that's the back. And then, you know, I just really think it came out well. I think she's gonna like it.